Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Amelia and here on this channel we talk about writing, journaling, and productivity to help you curate a life that you love. So today it's raining. That's what's happening, and so if the lighting is a little strange, maybe a little yellow, I don't know how the lighting is going to turn out because my camera is honestly very bad at lighting. I don't know if you've seen my other videos. It just is in and out all the time. So anyway, it is raining and that has caused a few issues. So if you hear thunder, you hear rain, you hear me freak out for whatever reason, that's why. But for today, I wanted to do a video talking about what not to do when you start journaling. Guys, I've gotten so many questions about journaling and how to get into it and stuff, but I see so many mistakes. Why do you guys do this? And to be honest with you, these are a lot of mistakes that I made as well, but I want to help you out here, and I don't want you to repeat the things I have done, okay? Don't do what I did. Don't be like that. Before we get into the bulk of today's video, I just wanted to ask if you would go ahead and hit that like button if you do enjoy journaling content like this, and subscribe to see more journaling content like this because it really helps me in my channel and makes me very, very happy. So let's go ahead and get on to what you should not be doing, basically. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about in journaling that you definitely should not do is do not jump in and write pages upon pages of words. Look, I did this. I've been journaling for quite a while now, and I actually picked it up again when I was in college a couple years ago, and when I first picked it up again, I had this problem where I would pull out my journal and just write like as much as I possibly could. But the problem is it's not sustainable to do. If you jump into your journal writing pages upon pages upon pages of words, you're gonna hit burnout. You're going to run out of things to say, and you're going to end up not sticking to a schedule because the next day you're just going to keep writing less and less until you're not writing at all. I don't remember the first place where I heard this because, like I said, I did this. So I don't remember the first place, but I do know in Greg McKeown's Essentialism book, which I have read a couple months ago, he talks about journaling, and I think I might have the quote, the section. Let me look. Okay, in order to get facts, I went back to see the screenshots because I read Essentialism on Kindle, and I took screenshots of the things that I thought were interesting, and I lost them. I'm pretty sure I deleted them because I was like, oh, I don't need those quotes anymore, and I was wrong. So I went to Greg McKeown's official site. But anyway, so here is what he has to say, and I think it's very valuable, and it will say everything that I want to say more better than how I would have said it. Okay. Write one sentence every day. If you want to create this new essentialist habit, journaling, use this counterintuitive yet effective method. Write less than you feel like writing. Typically, when people start to keep a journal, they write pages the first day. Then by the second day, the prospect of writing so much is daunting, and they procrastinate or abandon the exercise. Apply the disciplined pursuit of less but better to your journal. And he goes on to describe this less but better methodology in other areas of your life, but specifically with journaling, I think it's beyond helpful. I often struggle wanting to write a ton and continue and keep going and going because I just love writing, but the problem with that is that then I don't end up writing the next day, or I end up burning myself out on the habit of journaling. So always write less than you expect to, and don't write pages upon pages if you can help it. My next tip for what not to do when you start journaling is don't neglect to make a schedule. Making a schedule for yourself for a lot of people is very helpful. I'm at that point where I don't really have a set schedule. I tend to journal every day, but at different times of the day. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling, but most people do better with a schedule. So pick a time of day, whether that's the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, to write in your journal. I always like using the 5-minute journals because, at least when you start out, because one, you can do that less but better strategy, but also because it's only 5 minutes of your time, so you're not like, oh my gosh, I need to set aside 20 minutes every day. What time will I do that? You can do 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before you go to bed. It's very, very easy, and so that's why I encourage that. I do have a 5-minute journal that you guys can look at. It's on my site. It is paid for, like you gotta buy it, but I'm not pressuring you into it, but there's a lot of prompts in there, and I think they're very valuable. And if you don't want to do a paid version, you can sign up to my newsletter and get 100 free journal prompts. These can be however long or however short you want them to be. They can be 5 minutes, 20 minutes, it depends on you. And those are free to get. You just sign up to my newsletter. It's not spammy. I email twice a month, basically, and since July is coming up and some big things are happening, I'm only emailing once in July anyway. So, yeah, there's your options. Alright, the next thing that I wanted to tell you guys about what not to do when you journal is not to write for other people. That is not what happens with your journal. When you're journaling for yourself. You're answering your own questions, you're answering things to better understand yourself, whether that's for self-discovery, mental health, manifestation, whatever it be. You are journaling for you. You are not journaling for your mom, for your brother, for your aunt, for your friends, for your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever. You are not journaling for anyone but yourself. And I think that's something that people kind of instinctually feel when they start journaling. I know I do. I know that, and for me it's also tied because of schoolwork, and maybe that's where it all started. You know, when you're so used to writing essays and papers that other people are going to read, or you're under this impression that if you write something it's like a book and then eventually people read that book. But journaling isn't like that. Where most of our writing every day is in the eyes of others, people will see it, they will interpret it however they wish. Journaling doesn't have to be like that. It's a very personal activity. Nobody has to read your journal. You could lock it away if you want. It's just you. And I think that's really hard to kind of come to terms with, that you're the only person who's going to be rereading your work if you ever do. And so therefore there's no reason to hold back or to be afraid. But if you walk in with this idea that other people are going to read it, you won't be as raw and real with yourself. And I think that has held a lot of us, including myself, back when it comes to really diving into finding ourselves and better understanding ourselves through journaling. Something else that I wanted to talk about for things that I don't want you to do when you are journaling is don't forget to switch up what you write about. So something that I struggle with, I just struggle with all of these. These are just things I have problems with. But something that I notice a lot of people also struggle with is changing up what they write about. It can be very easy to just use journal prompts, or to just rant about your day or your week, or, to write the same sorts of things over and over again. But that makes journaling boring. And when journaling becomes boring, you no longer want to do it, because people don't want to be bored. We don't want to do things if they're not helping us or pushing us to grow in some way or another. So, try to change it up. That's my advice. Now, how can you change it up? Oh, don't worry, I've got you. One way that I like to change up my journaling strategy is just basically to kind of journal about different things. Sometimes I journal about where I want to be in the future. That'd be more manifestation type journaling. Or I'll journal about who I am as a person and try to get to better know myself. Self-discovery journaling. I will journal about mental health issues or things that I've noticed. I'll write letters to people that they'll never read, but I'll still write them anyway. I like to write scenes with my characters because as a writer I just enjoy that stuff. But I also rant about my day, or I will write about how the color yellow makes me feel, or I'll answer a prompt that I've never considered writing about before, which again is why my 100 free journal prompts is really useful. I go back to that because I don't remember what I wrote, but I know that towards number 50 I was running out of ideas. So I know that anything after the number 50 on that list is crazy, and you begin to be like, wow, that's a weird question, I never would have thought of that. So I like to go back to that, especially when I'm feeling like my writing is becoming boring, or I just don't want to write about it anymore. I also find that writing about the holidays and with the moon cycles and all that stuff with my tarot cards has helped me to really explore journaling outside of just ranting in my notebook about my life. But the more you switch it up, the more exciting journaling will become to you, and it'll be easier to maintain it as a habit because there's always something new to write about and to look forward to. Alright, my next tip for you guys is do not put your journal where you can't see it. I read Atomic Habits early in the year, back in January. And one of the things that James Clear mentions when you're trying to build a habit, and this would apply to journaling, of course, because it is a habit, is that you want to put the cue thingy in a place where it will trigger a response. Let me break it down. If you want your journal to be effective and you want to be able to use it every day, put it somewhere where you can see it. If you hide your journal in your dresser drawer or under your bed or, somewhere where you can't see it, you're less likely to use it. Now, I understand why sometimes you might want to hide your journal if you have nosy siblings or you just kind of want to keep that area of your life private and don't want anyone to read it. That makes sense, but you have to put maybe your pen or a note somewhere where you'll see it to remember to journal. And for me, since I don't have to really worry about nosy siblings anymore, I can leave my journal right here by my coffee table, just right next to me. You can't see it, but it is. And I see it, and then I will be more likely to use it. So don't hide your journal from yourself. Try to put it somewhere where you can see it and remember it. Alright, my next tip for you guys is don't get discouraged when you mess up. What do I mean by mess up? Well, there's a lot of ways that you can mess up in journaling. At least, it's not really a mess up, it's just something that we tell ourselves. I'll use a good example. For me, I will write things and then be like, no, that's the wrong way to write it. And then I'll scribble it all out and then rewrite it. And that doesn't look as aesthetic or perfect, but that's part of the process. And even though it's a mess up, I try not to get discouraged by it. I've also answered a prompt completely wrong or gone way off topic and then scrapped the whole page. I've done art journaling where I totally screw it up and I either have to start all over or I just have to rework that section. Recently in my vintage spread, you see a flip tab, and what you don't see is that it's a totally different piece of paper because I ruined the first one. My stamp did not work, and it was very sad. So in things like that, I've definitely had a few slip-ups, but mess-ups can be more than just actually writing the wrong thing or tearing the wrong piece of paper. I think that it depends on the person and what you consider to be a problem or a fault or an issue, but I don't want you to get discouraged by it. If you end up skipping a day of journaling and that is your mess up, don't beat yourself up about it. If you accidentally pour water on part of your journal, don't beat yourself up about it. If it dries well, it's still able to be used. I think there's a lot of ways things could go wrong, but the way you look at it and how you approach it after things have gone wrong is you have to be gentle with yourself. I'm not sure where I was going with that last sentence, but I think that the point I wanted to make here was just that mess-ups will happen and you just have to keep going despite them and just love yourself no matter what. Alright, and then this next tip for what not to do when journaling is don't forget to have fun. And I think that's a big part of journaling. The reason I've stayed with journaling so much is because it's so fun. I specifically love art journaling a little bit more than regular journaling these days, but I still find regular journaling so fun. It's just nice to get to know me and to write about whatever I want and just kind of feel like I have the whole world as my oyster, if that makes sense. But no, one thing that I really want you guys to do is just have fun with it. If you find journaling to be too serious, or if you are forcing yourself to do it but you're not finding any enjoyment out of it, then don't keep doing it. I think that having fun with the things you do is really important. For some people, they might argue that, there's a need to build your self-discipline and focus in journaling, and therefore it can't be as fun because you are really focused on the practicalities of it and how it will help you and your mindset moving forward. But personally, I really enjoy the fun aspects of journaling, and I really want you guys to as well, if you can. If you can't and you view it in the other way, that's totally fine, but I just want you guys to have fun. That's what this is about. Alright, well thank you guys for watching today's video. That is all I have for this one, but it was really fun to film and I'm just in a really good mood. So maybe that's why. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and leave a comment below letting me know how these tips have helped you and what you thought on some of them. Do you like to have fun with your journal, or do you prefer to be more serious about it? I am interested to know on how you guys prefer to journal and what you're interested in learning from me on this channel. So, without further ado, I will go ahead and catch you next time.